What is up, y'all? Casual Friday here, super casual Friday. And if you hear my dog barking in the background, it is because it's trash day and she hates trash day. I want to chat with y'all about the 3 ways that implementing a virtual offer in your business won't work. And what I've seen and how to do it extremely ineffective. And, my career, I've gone through many iterations. I have done things blended. I have done things fully virtual. I've done things fully in person. And so I have a ton of experience with this. I have taught other coaches. I have taught staff how to program like this. So you guys can try all these things, but I need you to trust me. The first thing that I would never do if I was implementing a virtual offer is I would not add telehealth, right? So I think a lot of PTs in the rehab space, they think about like just what we've always done. And telehealth is kind of the first thing that comes to mind when you think of working with clients virtually, right? It's if we're exposed to anything in PT school, it's that. There is nothing that I could think of that would be worse than sitting in front of a computer and like talking somebody through a physical therapy session. That is completely my personal opinion, but like, I don't know that there's an amount that you could pay me to do that. And so for me, like that model just really doesn't align. I understand why people do it, but telehealth really doesn't solve a problem in the way that I think about adding virtual offers to your business. It's still synchronous, right? There is still a direct trade for time. So what telehealth does is it gives you freedom of location, right? You can be anywhere doing this thing, but it doesn't give you freedom of time. And so it's really important that we kind of think of these 2 mechanisms. We have what is called synchronous care. In person is synchronous care, right? When you and I are in the same room, there's a direct trade for time, that's synchronous care. And then we have what is called asynchronous care, where there's a lag, right? Asynchronous care has been around for a long time. There are different ways that the rehab space has done that. But what that basically means is the way that we are communicating is not in sync, it's off sync, right? So I am writing something for you, a program, you are going and doing it, and then you're giving me feedback. That feedback is then delayed, and then I make adjustments from there. So telehealth to me is not really a solution at all for anything virtual. It's literally just a different mechanism of in-person one-on-one. The second biggest mistake that I see people make is one that actually makes a lot of sense theoretically, and that is fitness at the end of the journey. So when we think about the traditional model and the clients that we would see in a traditional clinic, it's like a no-brainer that the next step for them would be to start working on their fitness, to start working on their health. For a lot of people in the physical therapy treatment space, that can actually be like their introduction into PT or into physical activity. So it makes a ton of sense. And this is actually what I thought I was going to do when I started practicing clinically. And when I really got into clinical care, is I was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. Like clients will continue to come into the clinic for fitness type activities. And that's not really how it works, right? Because there tends to kind of be this mismatch in the audience that's consuming physical therapy and the people that are then going to invest in their health from the physical sense, from the consumer sense, right? Like when I think about the clients that I worked with in traditional physical therapy, and I think about the clients that I worked with in the cash-based realm, they were completely different consumers, right? A lot of these people were medically complex. There was a lot of socioeconomic, considerations. And honestly, like for them, putting their health first wasn't really a high priority. That's not everybody. There's a generalization in what I saw just kind of with the patient demographic that I worked with. But then when I was in the cash-based realm, all of these clients were already invested in their health. They were doing the fitness type stuff. And so the next problem that I ran into was like, I'm trying to sell them something that they are already buying as a consumer. So think about it like this, right? And for me, it was the CrossFit space. I worked in the CrossFit space, fitness athlete space. If I had somebody that came into my clinic, was going to CrossFit ABC, and then I said, hey, Ray, you're now done with your plan of care. Really, the next step is for us to start working on your fitness together. Would you like me to take that over? There's a mismatch there. Like, they already have a solution to that in their group fitness program. Now, of course, if you are in the cash-based space and you work with consumers that aren't consuming fitness already, yeah, this could work. But I just kind of found that, like, for me, like, this just wasn't the thing that I wanted to do. I'll talk about why in a second. And the other thing is, if you are somebody that is working in the fitness space, you are now going to start offering what would be a competitive instead of complementary offer, right? So if I was a gym owner and you were the PT that I was sending you to, and I found out that you were now offering fitness, I would have some reservations of sending my clients to you, because it would now be seen as competition versus, collaboration. So for me, I always stayed out of the fitness realm. I tried it. I didn't like it. I take that back. I loved it. But the other thing that I saw, and this is really the big issue, is, and I've tested this with myself, I've tested this with staff that I've trained. When you go from writing a program for a prescriptive exercise program, that's what we teach, right? Which should be like 15 minutes or less per week, to writing a custom fitness program, truly custom, not just a template that you're selling as custom, which some people do. It's gonna take you like 3 times as long. I found that for most people, you're looking at like 45 minutes to an hour per week. And when I ask people who are programming fitness, that's generally what it's taking them, unless they are doing something where it's templatized and then it's built in there. But a lot of people are selling custom programming. You zap all of the value out of it, and you end up working for like 25, $50 an hour, right? It's not worth it financially, in my opinion. And what can happen is you can start to create this facade that it is working, because your gross revenue will go up, but your effective hourly rate will generally go down. So we need to make sure that we have a product audience mismatch. Again, I'm totally biased. I think the prescriptive exercise program is exactly that. But again, this is about the 3 things that you could do that won't work. The third thing that you can do that won't work is you can add in-person sessions to the virtual offer. So we use what is called a layered revenue system. It is this baseline of recurring revenue, and then sessions and packages are stacked on top of that. And they are intentionally split for a reason, so that you actually get paid for the offer that you're servicing. When you add even just one in-person session to your offer, you immediately zap your effective hourly rate. So let's say, for example, you're charging $300 a month, and it includes one in-person session with you, and it takes you an hour per month to write the program. Cool. You have 2 hours of service on that offer. You are now making $150 an hour, which might be better than nothing, but like, that's probably around what your clinical rate is. And so therefore, you're not actually ever scaling the business in an efficient way. You're doing it in an inefficient way. The other thing that happens is you still add time to your schedule. Guys, I cannot get this point across hard enough. You will never have freedom and flexibility in your business if every offer you sell includes a component that has a synchronous tied time to your schedule. If you sell something where they still get one session, there is no way to break free from that, right? The reality for this, and sometimes like this can work because it's kind of a stepping stone in the right direction, but it's typically a crutch of just like what you know. Like theoretically, you're thinking clients value your in-person services and therefore you want to add them to the journey, you want to add them to the offer, but it's a crutch, right? You need to start breaking the belief that clients need to come in person to get value from you. You are so much more valuable than trading your time. There's nothing wrong with trading your time so long as you're trading it because you want to trade it and you are getting compensated fairly on this. So one of the things that I've kind of been seeing, I want to break down a little bit of the math with you guys. I've been seeing a lot of this like continuity offer, this continuation offer where it's $375. They get 2 1-hour sessions with you. And again, let's just assume best case scenario, it takes you an hour to write the program. $375 divided by 3 is now $125 per hour. I don't know about you guys, but that's moving the needle the wrong way, right? So let me teach you how we price it, how we do it. Let's say that you are selling an in-person session and you want that to be $150. Great. Your client will pay you $150 when they come in. You then have this layer of revenue that is $300 per month, which is a prescriptive exercise program. It is not a fitness offer. It is complementary to fitness. It solves a specific problem. And we have our clients charge, some of our clients charge $300, $400, $500 a month for that, right? So if it takes you 1 hour, that's your effective hourly rate, $300 an hour, $400 an hour. Let's use that $300 per month hour, or $300 per month number again, and let's say it takes you let's say it takes you 45 minutes. So now we have 300 divided by 0.75. That's an effective hourly rate of $400, right? We're going the right way. You can literally make twice as much money in half the time. This is the way that this model works. Let's just say that you're nervous to implement this and you want to charge $200 an hour and you can manage that in 45 minutes per month. 200 divided by 0.75 is still $267 per hour. It takes you the right way. So if you want to implement a virtual offer in your business that doesn't work, that keeps you stuck on the hamster wheel, that keeps you tied to time, do one of these 3 things. Add telehealth, make it a fitness offer at the end of the journey, or keep adding in-person sessions to it. And if you want to learn the way that we do it, where your effective hourly rate goes up, where there's never a tie for time, where there is a layered revenue system in your business, then I'm going to drop a training below. Check that out. Like I said, y'all, Casual Friday. I'm going to be making more videos like this. Hope you guys like them. So drop any feedback that you have for me. And if you want to connect with me on Instagram, make sure you follow over at Ray Gorman DPT. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. See y'all next week.